Joining me is Warren Hogan. He's the Chief Economist of the Judo Bank. Warren Hogan, great to talk to you again. Look, first, is this the rate rise we need?
Yeah, thanks, Andrew, for having me on the show. It certainly is. We have a very low interest rate given our economic conditions. And I think to your point you were making, if anything, the RBA is not doing enough. I know no one really likes to hear that, but the economic narrative in Australia, I think, has been quite misguided. It's been led by the government to some extent, that this economy is very fragile and it could fall over at any time. And the reality is just that's not the case. And right now, with our cash rate at 3.6%, we're well below any comparable economy. New Zealand's at 4.75, the US is at 4.75, even Canada at 4.5. So I think the Reserve Bank has been beaten down to be cautious and worried about toppling the economy over. And of course, this leaves us exposed to the real risk, and that is that inflation gets away from us, and one day down the track, they have to really jack up rates and create a really bad set of economic circumstances and a severe recession, which none of us want to see happen.
Now, Warren, like you know, I know people are hurting, right? And I can say I've paid off my mortgage, so, you know, maybe I'm detached from it. I know they're hurting, right? But as you say, inflation, if that got away from us, they'd be hurting even more. The Reserve Bank then must feel this too, but hinting there's maybe only one rate rise left to come. Seriously, why would it do that?
Yeah, look, I think it's a little bit dangerous, but maybe they are close to a point where they feel comfortable with the so-called pause, where they can sit back and watch for a little while. I mean, we must remember there's a major review of the RBA about to be handed down, plus the governor's job is on the line later in the year. So, you know, this is the most politicised the RBA has been in decades, and maybe they just feel like they need to step carefully. But I think they made it quite clear that further tightening could occur under certain circumstances. And, you know, we only have to look overseas right now where the US is ahead of us in this game, and their interest rate is at 4.75, and they're worried that they're going to have to do substantially more over there. So these economies are proving to be very resilient. And to your point, there is no doubt that there are pockets of quite severe stress in the household sector and indeed in the business community. But the great bulk of Australian households and the great bulk of Australian businesses are in pretty good shape and weathering these higher interest rates quite successfully.
Warren Hogan, thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thanks, Andrew.
And I tell you what, the Albanese government could do its share by actually cutting its own spending instead of clobbering people with mortgages like this all the time, leaving it all to the Reserve Bank. It's just terrible.